What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today I want to talk a little bit more about defense in Guilty Gear. A couple of pieces of advice to help your defense a little bit more. So the first thing I want to talk about is faultless defense. Again, I did mention this before, but using faultless defense well is very, 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 very important. And rather than just saying use it, I'm going to give you a specific example because I feel like the real strong thing about faultless defense is that you can kind of get the opponent off you without actually committing to anything straight up, and then they have to adjust their offense to deal with your faultless defense. So of course we have Ram to show this. So Ram has this string. You've definitely seen it before. So this all has like reasonably safe gaps. So like there are gaps in here, but like you can't really do anything about them. If you try to jump, you get hit. If I block the sword, that's +2. So if I try to jump there, I get hit. And then if I block the whole sequence, the explosion goes off and Ram still has advantage. So what do you do about this? So ideally, you faultless defense so that the 5k or 2k or whatever they use to fill in that gap doesn't reach you, or she's really far if it does connect, and she has to adjust her pressure to deal with this. Keep in mind too that a standing faultless defense actually pushes them a little bit further than a crouching faultless defense. And for the most part, characters don't have a lot of lows, and there's not really any character in the game that has like a mashable low, like a 2kk type of thing. Next, I'm going to talk about YRC. So a lot of you guys already use YRC to get out of precarious situations like this, right? This situation that we have here with Ram is actually a really strong one that I call the win condition. If you don't know what the win condition is, I made a video on this idea before, but essentially this concept is when a character gets you in a certain position where all their options are really strong and they do a lot of damage. So think of Potemkin sweeping you near the corner, or doing like slide head when your back's to the wall, or Milia knocking you down with sweep, or Ram getting this type of sequence off. All of these fall into win condition in my opinion, because once they hit you in this spot, you are in really, really serious trouble. So again, YRC is a really good way to get out of these. So a lot of people like to use YRC to just get people off them for 50. This isn't that bad of an idea too if you have a character with a command grab, let's say, because YRC has guard crush. Again, as a review of guard crush, you can't do anything but block or burst. So if you have a character that has plus frames or has like a strong command grab, strike throw type of game, it couldn't be really good to just do that. But you have to keep in mind that YRC has the sharpest meter penalty out of all the options that you have on defense. So as an example, I'm going to show just like red RC, and I'm going to run forward and build meter. So if you look on the player one side, my meter finally started coming back, right? Took a little while. Now if I YRC, look how long it takes for me to get meter now in comparison. It's going to take a minute, by the way, because this is by far the longest out of everything. There we go. Finally got our meter back. So it's a really, really big meter penalty. So when do I like to personally use it? Again, after situations like this where you're blocking Ram and like you understand this is where she's strong, so you want to get out. But also when the opponent is in a round ending situation. So every character kind of has different meter building through like system methods, like running around the screen and stuff. Milia is a notable, like hers is really bad for moving around. So even though I don't want to necessarily use YRC to just like get out, I could use FD and like try to jump out and things like that. At the end of the round, it could be a pretty strong option when your opponent is trying to come back on you. You could try to use YRC to just stave them off one more time and get the last hit. So number 3, this might annoy some people, but it does actually help to know a little bit of the enemy character frame data. If you're newer to the game, the one that I would really want to start with would be who has a plus on block close slash, because this will just help you know what to challenge and what not to challenge. For example, Soul, his close slash is +3, Maze is also +3, Giovanna's close slash is also +3, Potemkin's close slash is +4, and finally Nagoriyuki also has a +3 close slash. So these I know off the top of my head because it's actually important to know that when these characters do these moves to you, that you don't really have an option to challenge unless you're willing to use meter, basically. Knowing the important numbers will help inform your decisions on defense, which is really, really, really important. Because in this game, again, the damage is pretty high in the game overall. So you want to make sure that you are mostly trying to get people off you and like do it in a way that keeps you relatively safe. Which leads me to the last thing I want to overall talk about, which is thinking about defense. So there are times where you want to like challenge to get out. And most people are like, how do I get out of this? And you're usually thinking like, what button do I press? How do I get them off me? But one thing about this game, circling back to FD a little bit, is because of mechanics like FD and YRC and being able to super jump out of pressure and super jump being hard for people to chase, you don't actually have to win the defense situation to get away from the opponent. I think Chip is a really good character to show this off. So here I made a simple recording with Chip. We have 4 slots here. So we have 5K2K into P alpha, then 5K2K into K alpha, then 5K2K into sweep, and lastly 5K2K into command grab. So these are all pretty good block string mix-up options, and you might be like, man, it's pretty hard to tell the difference between the alpha blades and the command grab because they all go invincible. If you backdash the command grab, he's going to grab you anyway. Like, what do you do? So this is an example of a situation that you could build out where your goal isn't necessarily to like beat him, it's just to get out safely. You don't have to actually hit him here to win. So for example, here we'll use the delayed fuzzy jump here to help us escape while defending any alpha blade and jumping the command grab into a punish. So I'll do a couple more times. The only hard part about K alpha blade is that you have to switch your guard when you jump, so I just do it every time. Just like that. You can apply this line of thinking in a lot of matchups if something is giving you problems actually. Even something like someone doing this to you in the corner. So of course I can aim to hit the move with something like 6p. But there are other ways to deal with it. Like I can push him out for FD and escape that way. I can rely on walk under to just avoid the situation altogether. You don't have to necessarily always aim for hitting people to account for your defense. Okay, hopefully some of these general ideas help you though. These type of macro ideas will help you a lot when you're thinking about specific characters, because sometimes you'll think about a character like Chip, like Nagoriyuki, like Leo, like Gio, who are like in your face all the time and you just want to press them off you and like start doing your thing. But because they could do so much damage when they hit you or lead into like multiple mix-ups in Chip's case, you don't necessarily want to directly challenge them all the time. So try to use what the game gives you and try to build situations based on what characters you're playing against. And also remember, most importantly, that you don't have to straight up win the situation to be successful. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.